Closing trades right here in ET now, again getting a little ranged after that attempt of a rebound. We're still holding on to that 25,150 thereabouts mark. We've got Sahaj Agarwal as well joining in on the show right now. Sahaj, hi, afternoon. What are you making of the market texture, the turn, and now, some serious profit taking in financial, banks, and pretty much all sectors other than IT?
Yes. So first of all, a good afternoon to you and to all the viewers. So I think today's day has been pretty interesting. In fact, the positive bias of the entire weekly setup kind of played out well until the first half. As a matter of fact, just before an hour before we witnessed some kind of a correction. And I think this correction I would attribute to the short-term parameters being overbought. RSI on shorter term basis also was trading, at an in an overbought situation. So that kind of had to be corrected. So currently, I'm seeing the placement of the market is pretty interesting, is positive. Support for the Nifty, in our understanding, is placed at 25,040 odd levels. And on the higher side, a conquer of 25,200, which is the resistance that the market has not been able to cross and sustain. In fact, if that crosses, then I think further up move can happen. But I would say 2540 is a level that I'm closely watching out for. And as long as we're above the same, I think we're totally positively biased and headed for 25,200 and higher levels in the near term. And if you talk about Bank Nifty, I think that's one sector which kind of played its role well much before the broader markets, and hence it's consolidating. So I'm looking at a range bound movement for Bank Nifty, at least for the next two odd sessions, in the range of 56,000 and 57,000. And to take care of that underperformance, I think IT is something that really has a lot of value, has been underperforming, I think, as a trader as well as an investor, well poised for a reasonable amount of upside. So I think that's one sector where I would put my attention on, keeping the Nifty support of 25,040 in place.
That's your take on IT, but what about some other sectors that have been lackluster yesterday and today? PSU banks being one of the biggest disappointments, given that just last week we've had the policy rollout and the initial reaction was very positive to that, but now you have banks that are trying to still try and break out of the red, but you have PSU banks that are very firmly in the red today, about another % of cut following yesterday's cut that we've seen. What are you making of PSU banks on the charts, and any recovery anytime soon?
So honestly, I think rather than just looking at the 1 or 2 days of the the trading performance, you have to look at the larger picture rather. And I think there was a phase in the last month where PSU banks were really outperforming and doing consistently well. And, I'm sure all of us have heard, buy the rumor, sell the news. So I think banking is just witnessing some kind of a profit booking after the hurrah that was, treated by the RBI governor. The market was treated. I think just a short phase. But yes, as I said, 2-3 days of consolidation, and then I would expect them to get back on track. Having said this, there's a very critical level on the broader market that I'd like to highlight. I think 25,500 is a very, very critical, resistance zone for the market. So though as a trader, one may have a positive outlook on stocks and sectors, I think for the structural health of the market, it's very important for Nifty to cross 25,500 for the party to continue. And till then, I would say shift your trading basket towards where there's value. So as mentioned, IT looks interesting. There's some in cement. And yes, banking is consolidating, expected to consolidate, but nothing worrisome at this point of time.
Worrisome from the banking pack, but today what's looking worrisome on the market today is United Spirits. That stock has taken a steep knock today, while the rest of the alcobev space is holding up quite decently. This is because alcohol is all set to become expensive in Maharashtra, as the state government has decided to hike excise duties. While it is a rise of 78 to 85% for ordinary Indian-made foreign liquor, which is IMFL, the hit on the pocket is softer for the premium end of these IMFL brands at around 9 to 12%. Country liquor too will draw an excise of 14%, and stocks of alcobev companies have been under pressure. After that news, let's listen in to what the experts are penciling in and what the impact is that they are making out on the street today.
This is the highest ever percentage price hike that Maharashtra state has announced over the last 12 to 14 years. This is a very good. This will have a very big negative impact in terms of volume offtake across various categories, right from low prestige segment to the luxury segment. Consumers may move from BII, BIO, which is bottled India, bottled original, the luxury segment towards the upper prestige segment. And this kind of downtrading will continue to the low prestige segment. Low prestige segment consumer may not move to country liquor, which means low prestige segment will also see a negative impact in terms of volume uptake.
It's too early to say at this point in time how and what will be the exact impact on MRPs. I think the most important thing is that Maharashtra has always been a state where premiumization, which means consumers were being given an opportunity to move up, and therefore revenue efficiencies of the state was going up, and therefore the revenue per case was going up. Our concern, and at this point in time, is that that process may get, I would say, put brakes on that process, and there would be a concern that consumers may start rethinking their options.
Right. Okay, that's the take on how much these Alco-Bev stocks could get impacted because of this excise duty, and a very steep one at that, in Maharashtra being implemented. But Dhananjay, what is your own sense? The likes of United Spirits, Radico, etc. Do you think after the knee-jerk reaction that would play out, the stocks become a buy?
So I think this will be having a sort of a effect on the news, will have an effect on the alco beverage company. So I think what Maharashtra government has announced may create a certain amount of suspicion that other states might actually also announce this. This could be because state governments are also sort of struggling on the revenue side. So I think this is kind of a sin good. I mean, there is a likelihood that people might expect or extrapolate this kind of a scenario in other states as well. So I would say that people will need to wait to see whether get more clarity on this, and whether this can actually create a trend. So while we are sort of positive fundamentally on the space, we do have a light blender in our list, but this is a regulatory risk that we'll need to sort of settle down before we take a decisive view.
Nice.
Okay, so that's the take on the entire Alco-Bev space. But hold that thought, Dhananjay. We'll be right back on the other side of this very short break.